These gentle somatic movements, based on the work of Thomas Hanna, should be considered as an important part of your daily routine. When done slowly and with awareness, they prepare your body to move freely throughout the day. Choose loose, comfortable clothing and a quiet space free of distractions. Remember, what is important is what you are sensing on the inside as you reawaken muscle control by engaging the sensory-motor nervous system with your complete attention. As we progress through the movements, there will be quiet time for you to feel the effects of the movements in your body. While somatic movements are appropriate for any age or activity level, certain physical conditions are structural in nature and may require the intervention of a doctor or surgeon. If you are unsure, please consult your physician before beginning any new exercise program. Lie on your back with your legs extended and your arms relaxed at your side, and let's begin with a SOMA scan. Noticing, what does it feel like to be you? Start to notice how your breath is moving you. Notice what it feels like to be laying on your back. Bring your awareness to your heels. How are your heels making contact with the mat? Is it the same on both sides? Do you feel pressure on the outside of one foot or directly on the back of the heels? Does it feel like your toes are turning in or turning out? Now bring your awareness to your legs and notice where your calves are making contact with the mat. Is it the same on both sides? Is there space under your knees? Are the back of your legs resting on the mat? Notice your pelvis. Does one side feel heavier than the other? If you imagined a horizontal line between your two sitting bones, would that line be level, or would one side be above or below that line? What is happening with your lower back? Is there an uncomfortable arch there? Does one side feel more arched than the other side? You can even slip your hands under your lower back and feel with your fingers if there is a difference in the muscle tension. Now bring your awareness to your shoulders, your arms, and your hands. How do your shoulders feel? Are they relaxed against the mat? Or do they feel as if they are rolling up? Are both shoulder blades resting with the same pressure on the mat? Notice the position of your hands. If your palms are down, keeping your arms on the floor, slowly roll the arms, hands, and wrists away from your body until the palms are facing the ceiling, and see what that feels like. If your palms are up, slowly roll the arms, hands, and wrists towards your body until your palms face down, and notice what that feels like. Do this slowly several times, and notice that when the palms are face down and close to the body, the shoulders are pulled up and towards each other, adding tension to the shoulders and the neck. When the palms are face up and slightly away from your body, the shoulders relax and open, and you feel that opening through your chest. Lastly, bring your awareness to your head and neck. Does your neck feel relaxed in the back, or does it feel pinched? Does it feel like the shoulders are hunched up around your ears, Or do you feel space between the shoulders and the ears? Does one side feel different than the other? Where is your head resting on the mat? Is your chin tilted up and back or down towards your chest? If you opened your eyes, go ahead and open your eyes. Are you looking straight up at the ceiling? Or are you looking behind you or towards your feet? Does it feel like your head is tilting to the left or to the right? And now bring your attention to your breath. How is the breath moving the body? Arch and relaxation. Bend your knees and let your heels rest in front of your buttocks. Not so close that you tuck your pelvis, and not so far away that you bring an excessive arch into the lower back. Take a second and experiment with the placement of your feet. Walk your feet close to your sitting bones and notice how that flattens your back. Now, walk your feet away from your pelvis and notice how that increases the arch in your back. Find the place where you feel your pelvis resting comfortably on the mat and your low back is in the neutral position. Place one hand on your belly and one hand on your chest. Begin to breathe in and out through your nostrils, fully and peacefully, letting the breath move into your belly. Notice the hand on your belly rise with your inhalation, and try to keep your shoulders and the hand on your chest quiet. As you inhale, do the muscles of the lower back begin to contract gently? As you exhale, can these same lower back muscles relax to neutral? You might find yourself wanting to press your back down, but instead, let your back relax because you give it your full attention. Remember, somatics is not about exerting effort from the inside, but it is all about learning to take back conscious control of our brain-to-muscle connection. Now relax your arms by your sides. Imagine that your pelvis is a bowl filled with water almost to the brim. As you inhale and fill your belly with the breath, gently press your pelvis into the mat, letting your pelvis tip forward as if a few drops of water were spilling out of the bowl between your legs. On your exhalation, melt your back all the way to neutral. Continue to inhale and fill your belly, tipping your pelvis forward, pressing your tailbone into the mat, and spilling a few more drops of water between your legs as you arch your back. And then on your exhalation, let your back float all the way to neutral. You are pandiculating the muscles of the lower back, contracting them with your arch, and then slowly and consciously releasing them back to neutral. Make sure you feel this contraction of the back muscles. If you can't feel it, you can't begin to change it. On your exhalation, let your back melt all the way back to neutral. Notice, when you contract your back, your stomach must relax. Repeat this arch and relaxation a few more times, pressing the tailbone into the mat as you inhale, letting the lower back muscles contract, and then letting your back float all the way to neutral on your exhale. Now bring your attention to the front of the body. With your next exhalation, start a slow, deep contraction of the abdominal muscles. And notice how this flattens your back into the mat. Your pelvis tips backwards, and the drops of water begin to run towards your chin. Slowly release this contraction and let your pelvis return to neutral. You are pendiculating the abdominal muscles, first contracting them, and then slowly and smoothly releasing them. Repeat this 2 more times on an exhale. Contracting the abdominal muscles and flattening your back, and then releasing the contraction and letting the pelvis return to neutral. Now let's put these 2 movements together. Inhale and fill the belly, letting the back contract and arch as the pelvis tips forward. Then exhale and let the back soften to neutral. Take an inhalation, and on your next exhalation, contract the abdominals and notice the back flattening into the mat. And then slowly and with awareness, release the abdominals and let the pelvis return to neutral. As you repeat this movement a few more times, notice that when the back muscles are contracted, the front is relaxed. When the muscles in the front are contracted, the back is relaxed. This ability to control the muscles in the center of the body is key to freedom of movement in other areas of the body. Repeat this arch and flatten 1 more time, and then extend your legs out onto the mat with your arms relaxed at your sides, and notice what you feel. How is the breath moving you in the center of the body? Arch and curl. Bend your knees and place both hands under your head. Let the weight of your head rest on your hands. And let's begin to explore the arch and curl. If you find this position of the arms creates tension in the shoulders, place a pillow under each elbow to support the upper arms, or continue to do the movement with your arms relaxed at your sides. Inhale into your belly, pressing your tailbone into the mat and letting your low back contract and arch. Exhale and let your back float to neutral. Inhale, and on your next exhalation, contract the abdominal muscles and flatten your back into the mat. Once your back is flat, fold your elbows inward and curl yourself up, bringing your elbows towards your knees, being mindful not to pull on your head or neck. Slowly release back down to neutral. Let your elbows relax back to the starting position and feel the openness in the front of the chest. Repeat this movement slowly and with awareness. Inhaling into the belly, pressing your tailbone into the mat and letting your low back contract and arch. Exhaling and letting your back float to neutral. Inhaling, and then on the exhale, contracting the abdominal muscles and flattening your back into the mat. Fold your elbows inward and curl yourself up, bringing your elbows towards your knees, being mindful not to pull on your head or neck. The point is not to touch the knees with your elbows, but to allow the back to lengthen as you contract in the front. You are recreating the red light reflex of stress and worry, and then releasing this reflex as you melt back down. Notice as you curl up, that long abdominal muscle that goes from the pubic bone right up to the ribs contracts and then slowly lengthens as you melt back down. It is during the slow, smooth release that the change takes place in the sensory motor nervous system. When you've completed your movement, extend your legs on the mat with your arms at your sides and feel. How is the breath moving your body? Does your back feel more relaxed? Is there less space between your back and the mat? Does your belly expand more easily with the breath? Hip hikers. Bend one knee and then the other knee, and place your heels in front of your sitting bones. Let your arms rest out to your sides and towards your head, as if you were making a letter Y. If this is not comfortable for your shoulders, adjust your arms until you feel that they're resting comfortably. Now imagine that your pelvis is a steering wheel. And as we move the pelvis, you are going to keep your pelvis on the mat. When I talk about moving the pelvis up, I am talking about moving it in the direction of your armpit, sliding it along the mat. Inhale and arch your back. Exhale and melt your back down to neutral, and then slide your right hip up towards your right armpit. Inhale and let the breath fill your right waist and bring your pelvis back to neutral. Let's repeat that. Inhaling and arching. Exhaling and melting your back down and sliding the right side of your pelvis up towards your armpit. Inhale and lengthen the right side back to neutral. As you repeat that one more time, notice that when the right side is contracted, the left side is lengthening. Be mindful that you are not arching your back as you hike your hip. Do this one more time on the right. Inhale and arching. Exhale and relaxing back to the neutral. Hiking the right hip up as if it were a steering wheel that you were turning to the right. Inhaling and relaxing back to the starting position. Now let's turn the steering wheel to the left. Inhale and arch. Exhale and melt back down and slide your left hip along the mat towards your left armpit. Inhale and relax back to neutral. Repeat this 2 more times. Inhaling and arching, exhaling and relaxing, then sliding the left hip up and melting back to neutral on your inhalation. Allow the left side to contract as you hike the hip up. And notice, does one side contract and shorten as the opposite side releases and lengthens? And now let's begin to alternate between the two sides. Inhale and arching, exhale and melting back to neutral, and then sliding that hip up towards the armpit, exhaling to neutral, and repeating on the opposite side. Notice, as you hike your hip up, can you get the entire waist involved? Rather than just focusing on the movement of the pelvis, are you using the entire muscle of the side all the way up to the armpit? When you complete the movement you're on, come back to neutral, and then let's repeat this one more time to each side with a slight variation. Inhale and arch. Exhale back to neutral and slide the right hip up towards the armpit and hold this position. A full contraction on the right side. And now take a full, generous breath into the left rib cage. And then exhale and melt yourself back down to the starting position. Now repeat this on the opposite side. Inhale and arch. Exhale and melt to neutral and slide the left hip up towards the armpit. And hold it. Take a full, generous breath into the right rib cage and then melt yourself back to neutral. It is important that one side releases as the other side contracts. And now extend your legs onto the mat and feel. How are the ribs moving on the right side? How are the ribs moving on the left side? How is the breath moving you? Horizontal dimension of walking. Bend one knee and bend the other knee. Bring your heels in front of your sitting bones. Press your right sitting bone into the mat. And then release that press, drawing a horizontal line over to your left sitting bone, and press your left sitting bone into the mat. Now release your left sitting bone and continue to rock back and forth between the right sitting bone and the left sitting bone, drawing that horizontal line. Notice that as you rock onto the left sitting bone, the knees move out to the left. As you rock back up and over to the right sitting bone, the knees head out to the right. Think of your pelvis as a barrel, rocking back and forth from one side of the barrel to the other side. Repeat this several times at your own pace. Now bring your knees back up to the starting position and move your feet to the outside edges of the mat. Inhale, and as you exhale, let your left knee begin to float towards the right ankle. Keep the right knee vertical. Inhale and float that knee back up to center rocking back onto the horizontal line with your left sitting bone. Repeat this with the left knee several times, floating towards the right ankle. Imagine that you're trying to touch the bottom right-hand corner of the mat with your left knee. Inhaling, bringing the knee back up to the starting position. Exhaling, and letting the knee relax towards the right ankle, lengthening the left side. Repeat that one more time, and then let's switch sides. Keep your left knee vertical, and with your next exhalation, let your right knee begin to float towards the left ankle, lengthening the right side. Inhaling, floating the right knee back up. Exhaling and letting the knee relax towards the bottom left corner of the mat. Repeat this several times at your own pace, noticing how we need to relax the front, the back, and the right side to allow this lengthening to occur. And now begin to alternate the movement of the knees. First, letting one knee relax towards the opposite ankle. Inhaling, bringing that knee back up, and then exhale and let the opposite knee relax towards the ankle. Bring your attention away from your knees and draw it back to the feeling of rocking back and forth on that horizontal line with your sitting bones. Remember, all movement begins in the center of the body. Repeat this one more time on each side, and then bring both knees back up to the starting position. Extend your legs onto the mat and feel. The vertical dimension of walking. Bend your knees and bring your heels in front of your sitting bones. And let's explore the vertical dimension of walking. Inhale, and with your next exhalation, press your right knee towards the bottom of the mat. Allow the knee to move forward as the right hip lifts and the right side lengthens. Inhale and relax your pelvis back onto that horizontal line. Repeat this several times. Inhaling, and then on the exhalation, pressing the knee towards the bottom of the mat, lengthening the right side, and then relaxing the pelvis back down to the mat. Notice that gentle rocking of your pelvis on that horizontal line. Now let's switch to your left knee. Inhaling, and on the exhalation, moving the left knee towards the bottom of the mat, feeling the left hip lift, the left side lengthen, and then relaxing the pelvis back down to the mat. Repeating that at your own pace with your left knee. When you feel ready, begin to alternate the movement of the knees. Pressing one knee forward, relaxing the pelvis back down, and then the opposite knee. Enjoy the freedom that you feel as the pelvis rocks back and forth on that horizontal line. And now let yourself come back to the starting position. Extend one leg on the mat, then the other, and feel. What do you feel? Does your back feel more relaxed? Does your belly move more easily with the breath? Has the pressure shifted where your pelvis is resting on the mat? Take as much time as you need here to complete your own SOMA scan. When you're ready, bend your knees, roll onto your side, and carefully bring yourself to standing. Close your eyes and feel yourself in gravity. Shift your weight to your heels. Shift your weight to the toes. Shift your weight back and forth between the right and the left side of the feet. And now bring your weight to rest on the front of the heels and the balls of the toes. Make sure your knees are not locked. Open your eyes and take a slow walk around the room. Notice how the hips are moving, how the arms are swinging. Gradually increase your walk to a normal, relaxed pace. Take yourself into your day with this awareness of what it feels like to relax the back, to breathe into the belly, and to move with ease.